Hey there, Kaiju kids, and welcome back to Mike Meeple's Painting Poorly miniature painting tutorials for Monsterpocalypse by Privateer Press. Today, we are taking a look at the biggest and the baddest member of the Planet Eaters, Gorghadra. And just like last time, I started off by priming the model with Chaos Black Spray Primer by Citadel, and once that's all dry, it's time to start Basecoats. We'll first use Brass by Vallejo and paint all the metallic portions. This includes his shoulder pads, claws, headdress, toes, chest, and tail. Now, I've thinned my paints with equal parts water, and I do this for a few reasons. Number one, thin paints won't obscure some of the finer detail of a miniature, and number two, it helps reduce the amount of brush marks you get showing up in your paint job. But when you use thinned paints, you almost always have to apply multiple coats to get the coverage that you want. After that, we'll take some Black Red by Vallejo and use that to paint the body of the model. The only thing we won't be painting with this will be the stomach. Now for the stomach, I'll be using Japanese Uniform by Vallejo. You'll also use this to paint the underside of his tail. Moving on to the textured base, I'll once again be using Neutral Gray by Vallejo to paint most of it, and using some of the other colors I have nearby for details, like the car and drain. Once that's all dry, it's time for shades. We'll start off with Soft Tone by the Army Painter, and apply that underneath each of the folds in his stomach. We'll also apply a thin layer to his mask and some of the pieces of his headdress and chest piece. After that, apply some Nuln Oil by Citadel to the textured base. And when that's dry, it's time for highlights and finishing touches. We're going to start off with some Red Copper by the Army Painter, and use that to develop the gradient color that appears on some of the brass portions of Gorghadra, particularly the tips of the shoulder pads and claws. Once you've got a layer on, mix together equal parts Red Copper and Rough Iron by the Army Painter, and apply some to what you've just painted, leaving some of the Red Copper portions exposed. And if your gradient is looking a little too stark between the two colors, you can apply a little Red Copper to blend where those two colors meet. Then, take some pure Rough Iron by the Army Painter and apply a small portion to the tips of those areas to finish it off. Next, we'll actually be using Gold by Vallejo to highlight the brass. For a second highlight, we'll use Liberator Gold by Citadel, but this will really be more of an edge highlight in some prominent areas, like the shoulder pads and claws. Moving on to the non-metallic portions of the model, we'll use Medium Skin Tone by Vallejo to add the first highlight to the stomach. We want to paint the most prominent portions that stick out, like the belly and the muscles, while leaving some of the Japanese uniform color exposed in the deep creases of the model. For a second highlight, mix together equal parts Medium Skin Tone and Sunny Skin Tone by Vallejo. And to really make things pop, we'll add a third highlight with just Sunny Skin Tone. Next, mix together 2 parts black red and 1 part light brown by Vallejo, and use that to highlight the rest of the body, again focusing on the bulging muscles, but leaving some of the original base coat exposed in the creases. For a second highlight, we're actually just going to add a little bit more light brown to the mix, so you're roughly equal parts of black red and light brown. Once that's all dry, take some Sunny Skin Tone and apply a little speckling to the thighs and knees and around the stomach, along with a little bit on the tail. For the pattern on his stomach, use Chocolate Brown by Vallejo and do your best to freehand a pattern at the base of each of his belly rolls. You'll also want to use Flat Earth by Vallejo to highlight that pattern. Next, we'll use some white to paint the spaces that will be glowing. This includes the creases on each claw. And since we have our white out, we'll paint the teeth and eyes as well. Once that's all dry, mix together 5 parts Lamian Medium by Citadel and 1 part Fluorescent Green by Vallejo. And apply some of this mix to everything you want to have that otherworldly glow to it. Next, we'll use some Sky Gray by Vallejo and dry brush some on the textured base. Then paint the rim of your base and hit it with some matte spray. And that's it! I want to give a big shout out to all of my patrons whose generous support helped me make quality content like this. And if you're interested in becoming a patron yourself, information on how to do so can be found in the description for this video, along with links to all the supplies I used today to both print and paint this model, and a link to my blog where you'll find more tutorials for games like Monsterpocalypse. And if you like this video and would like to see more, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Smash it up!